This is Demetria Clark, the director of Heart of Herbs Herbal School. And today on the Heart of Herbs Herbal School podcast, I know it's a mouthful, we are here with Becca Daye. And Becca is going to share her herbal journey. And I will start off by just a little disclaimer. Becca studied with me in 2004, right?
Mhm.
So welcome, and please let us know a little bit about you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, as I was reflecting on this podcast, Dimitri, I realized, oh my God, I studied with you 20 years ago. Feels like in a completely different lifetime. Um, Even my husband remembers you. He came up to your place in Vermont.
He was so cute. He was so sweet. I remember him too.
Yeah, so like you're part of my, herbal mentor lineage, and it's really cool to be, doing this circle again with 20 years under our belts of life and reflecting back. But it was just a really cool time coming up to your place in Vermont, and just it was my first real apprenticeship. So I've been studying like plants and books, but to really work with an herbalist and go out and be with the plants and make medicine was such a gift. I'll always remember it.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, you were one of those students that obviously stick out in someone's mind because 20 years later, I want to connect with you. So I appreciate you so much. So tell us, what is it that you do and how did your herbal journey begin?
Yeah, so herbal journey began when I was like 19. I took some time off from college, just like a gap year, and was like, what the heck do I want to do? I love plants. I love all sorts of things, science. And then I got into herbs, and then it just became this like lifelong passion. And I sway towards the clinical herbalism world, but also growing herbs and making medicine. So I've just gathered lots of trainings and different ways of approaching herbs throughout my life, and that's continued until now. I never stop. But then I actually, right when I was studying with you, I was in midwifery school at Yale, and it was like such a different contrast. And I reflect actually in my journal that I have from Demetria's class like 20 years ago. Um, just like this conflict of me feeling like I want to serve all these women. I really felt drawn to be a midwife. I knew that midwives traditionally throughout time had used herbs as part of their healing, not just for women in childbirth, but actually through the lifespan, and really felt like called to it. So they both merged. But then being in traditional, even a community health based clinic when I was interning and graduating, it's hard. It was hard to mesh it. Like there's no, I don't know, there's no algorithm for it. Like no one's really, not many people are doing it. So it's kind of been a lifelong journey of how do I merge these two worlds of being a medical provider and being an herbalist at heart, like knowing I've that truly lights me up and brings me joy. So I continue to explore it. Right now I work, was a midwife for like 18 years and mostly did gynecology and prenatal, postnatal care. I kind of stayed out of the delivery room just because I wanted a different lifestyle. I didn't want to be on call all the time. Found my passion doing that. It's amazing. Continued studying herbs, doing clinical trainings, seeing clients on the side. And now, let's see, 2021, I graduated. I went back to school in my 40s, surprisingly, became a psychiatric nurse practitioner because I was working with patients or, my women, seeing them. I'm in West Virginia now, and I had no one to send them to. They were all struggling with their mental health. I didn't feel like I knew enough how to handle the more complex things. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to become that person, and ended up having amazing mentors throughout that process. And now I've created like a whole service line at a hospital, and really been embraced by the chief medical officer and like all these higher ups to just say, cool, what do you need? Like, and I'm just got hired in another person to help me do what I do because I can't see all the women I need to see. Um, so it's really near and dear to my heart to work with women. That was my calling at 19, and I have never swayed. In some capacity or other, I've always been working with women. And now I get to work as an herbalist in my local community and also as a practitioner, seeing patients who otherwise might not have access to compassionate, trauma informed care. So that's kind of in a nutshell what I do.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Okay. So totally not surprised, right? Like you just had that vibe even way back then. But I will say you said something that really struck me, and I think people forget that herbalists and midwives were the first family practitioners,
Absolutely.
and so you're really kind of almost going back to the very ancient
Yeah.
form of care where because midwives would take care of the whole family, herbalists take care of the whole family.
Mhm.
And it's only in recent times, probably in the last few hundred years, that that was even divided
Absolutely.
between, so it's just so cool to me that you were not only just doing it, but like you were really doing it.
Mm. Yeah.
And then the mental health
Yeah.
component. So I live in a maternal desert.
Mm.
So, access to care is really crazy for people who are pregnant or need other kinds of care. Of course, that happened right after I moved here.
Mhm.
The hospital, I say I moved someplace and they closed down their
Yeah.
family services. But I know that West Virginia has its own deserts, and so
Yeah.
it sounds to me like you're filling in that void, that mental health void, which is like, I mean, it's not just West Virginia, it's everywhere
Right.
in the United States. So, wow. I mean, that's pretty freaking incredible. So,
And
what is that like for you?
um, which part exactly? Just doing
Oh,
mental.
I don't know. Like, I guess all of it. Like, how do you find the balance, and then how do you assess what your community needs?
Oh, got it. Yeah. I mean, for me, throughout my life, I just think I have a natural ability to just listen and observe, right? That's so literally, it was just so apparent to me that this was a huge need, just maternal mental health care. I also work with women who have had pregnancy loss. Um, and then just like, hey, how do I make this happen? I will say our community is very small of doctors, midwives, but everyone here is like just super committed to patient care. I have met such amazing people, the OBs, the midwives, everyone. Once I said, this is what I'm doing, they embraced it so wholeheartedly. OBGYNs were like, please see them all. And it's just this constant referral base. And it tells me how many women need help because my practice is just full. I mean, I can't see everybody in the timely manner. That's how big it is. But I think anywhere, if you have a passion and what you want to do doesn't exist, you can create it. Like you can be that innovator. You can be that person who says, this is what needs to happen. Figure out who the people are to support you and go learn what you need to learn to feel confident to do it. But also know you get confident by practicing anything, herbalism, medical. You don't have to arrive and be perfect. You just have to show up and do your best and continually learn and listen to people you're seeing. And I think we could do tremendous things, whether it's wanting to do mental health, merging mental health and herbs is such an amazing avenue. If anybody else out there wants to create that, that would be embraced, I'm sure, by your community. People are looking for solutions. We don't have awesome solutions for everybody right now, just in the modern pharma world, it's limited. It's not really doing what people are looking for. Like it's band-aiding, but it's not quite it. So we need great people to listen, counselors, people who know how to work with the body, know how to prescribe medications, or clinical herbalists or family community herbalists. There's so many avenues to be of change. And this is my philosophy. How can I be of service? Like that's how I enter the world. And I've felt that since I was 19. So I just keep going back to that. How can I be of service? but also knowing I've got to take care of myself to so
Yep. Did I lose you?
okay.
So I think it's great that you were saying, how can I be of service? I've always joked that I have two like running jokes in my life. They told me that I could have it all. They didn't tell me I had to do it all. That's like a running
Mm,
thing. I feel like a lot of women feel like that. Like,
yeah,
holy crap. Like, you said I could have it all. And I
right.
literally am doing everything. And then
Totally.
show me the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm one of these, like, I can come up with like a million solutions to any problem. So when you were saying like
Yeah.
where can I be of service? How can I, I'm just like, oh, I love that so much because I really feel like you are the epitome of that.
Mm.
As I snooped around on your your bio and I was
Yeah.
reading, I was like, oh my gosh, like so you are a walker, not just a talker.
Yeah.
And I love that. I really love that. I think that more people need to understand that we can all make a cool whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but we've got to deliver it and offer it and be able to say this is something that's of value and I want to help you and connect with you. And it's not just about a sound bite or a little video or whatever, right? Like, so I
Totally.
love that you do that.
Mhm.
So what have been some of the greatest challenges in doing the work that you do?
Mm. Uh, I think it's staying within a system that makes there's a lot of rigidness around it. I mean, uh, I have to see a lot of patients every day. It,
Bet you do.
it I'm so busy. Um, but I look at it as I'm honored to be able to do that. But that is the contract when you're in what I do. That's my full-time job. It is you're expected to be able to do this and you better keep up.
Wow. So what do you do to decompress from
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. So it's my herb gardens. Like
I
I
bet they're nice.
they're pretty West Virginia. I moved from 8 years ago from like Northwest or Western Mass up near Vermont. So you know
Hmm.
really well.
Hmm.
Season is like super short.
Hmm.
Here, just like spring begins in March, and I'm lucky to live down the road from a friend that owns an herbal sanctuary. Um, yeah, like I literally bought a house, and then I realized, oh my God, she lives down the road. Um, so that's been amazing. I teach herbal classes there now. I do herbal consults in on her property. So this
Where
morning,
can people find you there?
yeah. So if you look up my name, Becca, BECCADAYE.com, that's my direct thing to work with me. But my friend's sanctuary is called Sacred Roots Herbal Sanctuary, and we're in Shepherdstown, West Virginia. And it's just this beautiful property. She's growing so many medicinal herbs. It is her passion, her mission, and she teaches people how to grow herbs. We have lots of community events there. So it's been such a blessing to get a mentor too in the growing process, right? So there's so many ways you can be an herbalist. You can be a grower and, the community herbalist, or I'm doing kind of the clinical and teaching. So it's been such a blessing to be there and just taught a class called Viva la Vulva. That was super
Woo!
fun. And there's been a call to do it again in the fall because a lot of women in the community were like, I didn't get to go. I want to do that. So amazing to just bring like midlife women together to talk about our bodies and changes and what we can do to support it herbally, and also just like learn real anatomy, talk about things that are not talked about or
It's not all the vagina.
not all these are the parts like super cool, but just to that conversation, women were just like at the end that just women holding space together is sacred. And I felt like completely honored to be there and do that. So that's been my balance. How I keep myself balanced is I have built my community of friends, and like-minded people, and um, just being out with the plants. I literally throughout the winter would just put on a parka and go out, sit there, and just be supported by them and Mother Earth, because I need to have this well of energy to tap into. And that's what they keep telling me. They're like, we're here, we got you, just keep doing your work, we will support you.
Yeah, no, it's so nice. I remember when my kids were little, sometimes we'd go wrestle out in the yard because I just really needed to connect, but I needed to be a mom at the same
Yeah,
time. And they were always like into wrestling and
yeah,
all this kind of stuff that little guys sometimes do. And so
yeah,
like I get that. Like sometimes you just need to like lay there and be pinned to the ground by your kids while they're giving you a noogie and be like, okay, I'm absorbing my my earth energy in right
yeah.
now.
I love that.
So so wow, so you just moved into the neighborhood to be in. I know everyone now is like looking up houses for sale in your area. They're gonna be like, what's wait, a sanctuary, a school?
Really,
Whoa.
oh, I didn't even mention there's an amazing herbal apothecary in our downtown called Tonic. Um, and super amazing. I mean, there's custom formulas like tinctures, dried herbs, body care, and I have this amazing opportunity to co-lead this herbal clinic. I'll co-lead it in the fall with Ashley Davis, who runs the school. She's got a 3-year clinical training, but it's just local, not online. And we're running a low cost herbal clinic. So for $25, anyone in the community can get a consult. And it's just the lead herbalist with herbal students. So the students get a chance to actually practice and be supported and how to create formulas and how to do an intake. So that's just fell in my lap again too, to start doing that. And I love just giving, low cost herbal medicine to people in the community is also a nice addition to my mission, I think.
Wow, that's awesome. How cool. Like,
Yeah.
I just think that's so freaking amazing.
We have lots of cool people in this community. So if you ever around Shepherdstown, West Virginia, it's quite a magical little place.
Oh, wow. It sounds like it. How did you end up there?
My husband, he's into Civil War stuff, just history. And
Hmm.
he basically found this area on a map and was like, there's the Antietam battlefield, like 10 minutes from us. Like, there's so many historical places. Shepherdstown was very pivotal,
Hmm.
hospitals during Civil War and such. So basically, he looked on a map and we're like, climate wise, this is really nice. It's not it is hot. It's going to be really hot next week, but
Yeah, I know, right? Woo.
you still get snow and there's seasons, right? So we
Hmm.
seasons, and there was that. We basically picked it on a map, came down here, spent a week camping with our kids, and we're like, are we going to do this? Yeah, we're going to sell our house, we're going to uproot, and we're going to find a new location. And it's taken time. Like, it takes time to build a community, especially when you're working and parenting and life is busy, but it's slowly evolving, for me and for him. And our kids are doing great here. And yeah, we're happy.
I mean, I was saying before we even started recording, like, I don't know if people know this about me, but West Virginia, I think, is the most beautiful place in the United States. And I've always thought that. I remember I was 15 years old with the man who is my husband now, and we were driving across country. Long story. But when I woke up when we were driving, the sun was coming up over the mountains in West Virginia. And I
Oh,
remember saying, this is probably the most beautiful place I've ever seen in my life. So I definitely, I mean, I like our mountains in
yeah.
Virginia, but I just think there's something special and magical about West Virginia that a lot of people don't know. And they
uh,
really, it's kind of like one of those hidden gems of just
yeah.
beauty, and the people are just really super nice. So when you
Yeah.
said West, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a little jealous.
You're
But
welcome.
I mean, I'm not too far away. But
Yeah.
I think it's just cool how people end up places, and you know. So what is coming up for you?
Let's see. I'm basically, well, my big life thing is sending my eldest kid off to college. So my summer is about hanging with the family. And I just
College.
teaching, I was teaching a bunch, teaching for intermediate level students, advanced level students, my Viva La Vulva. So I'm taking a little break. um, I'm planting, just working with my gardens, harvesting. And then fall herb clinic starts up. We take the summer off. Probably teach a Viva La Vulva class again for women in the community and keep doing my other job. Thankfully, I have help now. An amazing nurse practitioner that I trained for 6 months has now officially started. And now I do not have to carry the load by myself, which I think is a good lesson for all women of like, you can have your mission, but it's okay to have help too. And like, you do not have to do it all by yourself. Like, advocate for help. Because I think a lot of us take on like, this is my responsibility. This is so important to me. But then we have this idea we have to do it alone. And I think that's the big thing I'm seeing in mental health, right? As women are feeling super isolated. Um, they feel like they're the only ones going through it, and people are going through it for sure. Um,
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. I feel like a lot of people, they'll call to talk to me about their homework,
mhm.
but it has nothing to do with their homework. You know what I mean? I'm like, I take classes every year to make sure I can like handle stuff better. So obviously you do in your job, but it's just like I try to keep some of the other skills up
Mhm.
because it's like all of our work is kind
Yeah.
of growing and expanding and taking on different formats. And so it sounds like yours does too. So I like that message that you share with people like you don't have to do it all.
Yeah. And we definitely feel like we do, but I feel like I'm moving in a phase of like, I don't have to prove anything anymore. And that seems to be a theme among like high achieving women, or just like this need to be productive all the time. And what does that look like? And what is non-productivity? Actually, isn't that relaxation? Isn't that just being?
Hmm.
Other things as I age, I'm just, naturally are coming up as I have more space, even though my life sounds busy. It's,
Hmm.
the parenting journey changes and they're more independent. And leaving the nest, I'm like, wow, there's like space to do things. It's a reclamation in a way of things that were really important to me, and I'm grateful to bring them back as part of my daily. But I think that we're all feeling very isolated, and any chance we can to make that community. That's why we had an herbal gathering here last weekend at my friend's farm, and just like 80s, I don't know how many people were there, but just that coming together I think is so important. So if it's finding your plant people or finding who your people are, um,
Yeah.
circles, something to just make you feel connected to other humans on a regular basis, so important.
Oh, I agree. And I do love what you're saying about reaching out. So in my work, I will I have like a therapist
Mhm.
that when work gets bad, we just make a few appointments. And I don't mean bad in a bad way, I just mean like bad like there's a lot of stuff going on way. Or like during COVID, I was like,
Mhm.
wow, students are emailing me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week and wanting me to answer them now, or hospitals are calling to verify stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get someone on speed dial, my own therapist, and be like, just so I could like work it through and vent and make sure.
Mhm.
Because I think if we don't do that, we're gonna suffer from burnout.
Yes.
And I think that's what you were alluding to, like this idea that if we do it all, oh, we're gonna crash. And so I love that you say that. So thank you for reminding us all to be
Mhm.
better.
Yeah, it's all lived lessons, just things I keep working on myself. Everything you hear in others is a reflection sometimes for yourself. So the people I see who are suffering, I can resonate with so much that they're saying. And I'm not there to heal them. I'm just there to hold space so they can see what they need to do, right? Trust
Mhm.
their guidance. So that's how I look at being an herbalist, being a healthcare provider. I'm there to hold space and bring whatever tools I have that might be helpful at that time. But most of us, we know what we need to do. We just could use the guide and the cheerleader and the person who just cuts through and says, yeah, you already know, you can do it. You got this.
Yeah, yeah. Like you know how to advocate for yourself. So let's do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can't do this for you. Let's yeah. No, I think that's great. So is there any I'm gonna let you go here soon because we'd like to keep these under 40 minutes just because people listen better that way. But is there anything else that you want to share with us about your work or what you're doing or ways people can contact you, get in touch with you? Because I think a lot of people are going to be like,
Hmm.
I want to go to these classes.
Oh, right on. Thanks. Well, right now, pretty much I'm an in-person provider, like herbalist here. I'm not doing really anything online, but that always expands for me as life shifts, and I'm always happy to just be a resource. Like I love helping. I think as I age, my role is to more helping like people who are 20 years younger, right? And they're like starting that journey. I love talking with people who are just like beginning a journey, and maybe I can shed some light on, hey, this is a way you can uh, kind of uniquely like bridge being a medical provider, being a herbalist, or hey, I'm wondering about Demetria's programs. Which one do you recommend for me at this point? I can help people guide them that way. But right now, I just have my website so people can find me to do local consults. Everything's super word of mouth for me, and that's how this community rolls. It's just word of mouth,
Okay.
which I love. But beccadaye.com, I will be.
And it's Daye, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Good. Good. I want to make sure that
Thank
people
you.
find you. So thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to see more of what your work as it grows and expands. And I would love to have you on again sometime and so we can catch up and see like how things have changed. And I just know that I've always been so impressed with everything that I see that you're doing.
Oh,
So thank
you.
you for sharing so much with the world because I don't think people realize what's out there
Mm,
and that we get stuck on a few people doing things and that they're the only things. And there is so much more out there. And so I just love that you're out there in
mm,
your community, serving your community, asking the question every day, how can I be of service? How can I? And that's just amazing to me. And
mm.
that's a good reminder for me to get my ass out there and do more of that myself because it's good.
Yeah,
It's good to make connections and fall
yeah.
in love with your community more. So I do love that. So thank you for that reminder.
Well, thank you. You'll always, be this special place in my heart, Demetria. I'm gonna cry.
Thing about, and I alluded to it, the midwifery thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's always been a family practitioner since the
Yeah.
day I met her.
Wow.
And it's just so funny, like that feeling that like this person
Yeah.
knows some shit. And I was just so I'm so glad I got to meet you and I'm so
Yeah.
glad that I get to see all the things that you're doing because it's so impressive and you just radiate. You radiate so much love and compassion and thoughtfulness and you have since the second that I met you. Actually, I have to find it. I have a picture of you
Yeah.
someplace
Oh
in a
my.
garden with a big hat on.
I still have that hat and I wear the same.
And I have to find it. If I find it, I will send it to
Oh
you.
my
Because
God.
I said to my husband, I said, "Oh yeah, I'm talking to this that former
Yeah.
student," and he goes, "Who was it?" I said, "The one who's wearing the big white hat in the picture."
Oh,
He
oh,
goes, "Oh, I remember
I would love to.
that." That
That
was
would
like a
be,
million years ago.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
think,
my kids are like 6 feet tall now, like
yeah,
all
like
grown up.
I was a baby, I was like 20 something. I just, and I think it's just cool to have that shared history. And yeah, you've always been this like-minded spirit for me. So thank
Oh, well, that's so sweet to hear. I'm just so glad we got to talk. And so thank you everyone for listening. And we're going to let Becca Day get back to her day. So I
you.
appreciate you being here with us today. And when we put the bio up, we'll put up the link to your website so people can find you. So thank you so much for being here. Bye.